America. I have some words in Thailandese that I would like to address. Arun Saraka Pen Kwan Yong Yin Ti Dai Popka Kun Tukon Nawani Excellencies Kek Pumi Kit Supayastri Lae Supahapurus. Then for my Taiwanese colleagues, Ni Hao, to all of you here. It is also a great honor for me to receive you all today on behalf of Professors Without Borders. Your Excellencies, especially the Ambassador, His Excellency Stefan Hörström from the Swedish Embassy here in Thailand. Din Excellence det underbart att du hör bland oss. And the wonderful wife of His Excellency the Ambassador of Luxembourg, Mr. Jean-Paul Zellinger, Madame Louise Ackerblom. Dat gibt mir ganz viel Freude zu wissen, dass ihr extra Zeit geholt habt, hierher zu kommen, für zu sehen, was Professor Salbodes möchte. Vielen merci, Madame. The Vice President, Professor Dr. Pansili Pansuwan, thank you so much for everything. Ms. Shilpa Stand Klidakorn from the Democrat Party. Ms. Panika Wanish from the Future Forward Party. Assistant Professor Petra Tsukamoto from Chulalongkorn University. Dr. Li Ying Wu from Kaohsiung, Taiwan. Of course, the Honorable Mrs. Lorna Johnson, Brittany Barger. Also my new friend Jack Intanate, who isn't here yet. He's coming. And of course, all of you delegates and students. Gender equality in the 21st century. What does gender equality look like for women in Southeast Asia in the 21st century? I will try to put a spotlight on Southeast Asia through the lens of the global and continuous conversation on gender. I will do so by looking at the topic of education. Education, as all of us would agree, is an enabler of opportunities, an enabler of sustainable empowerment. What I mean with this is that it is not enough to just do something for 1 year. It takes time. Change takes time. And education has this power. It might take some initial time to get it all set up and integrated. However, once that a person has gone through the educational system, this knowledge can never be lost. Moreover, education is an enabler to integrate developing communities into the global communities. I was very lucky. I grew up in Luxembourg, where the educational system is incredibly developed, in my opinion, and where governments are part of the group of key players to make sure this remains like that we keep moving forward, invest in our youth, in my opinion, the future leaders of tomorrow, and empower our people along the way. And it gives me great pleasure to see that Thailand is on the same path. Education is not just books. Education starts at home and is refined at school. Education is soft skills and knowledge of all kinds. Schooling and the classroom environment is, of course, in my opinion, important and ideal. Therefore, in my opinion, it is important to keep boys and girls in school, starting at an early age, and that both benefit equally from quality education. My foundation, Professors Without Borders, has identified this need and is proudly collaborating with prestigious institutions around the world. One of these prestigious institutions is we have just signed our new and adjusted MOU yesterday between Professors Without Borders and SW, known locally as Sunakarim Wirot University. We had the great pleasure to work with them since a few years now, and had even the great honor to receive a delegation of them at our conference on higher education and technology in London at the London School of Economics. Of course, as in London here too, we had the great support of generous partners, the Gulf Future Centre, the London School of Economics think tank, LSE Ideas, and SWU, among others. let me address you now with the topic of this year's first ever conference, organized by Professor Borders in partnership with SW and LSE Ideas, Women, Development and Higher Education. In my opinion, all three need to be looked at as one, as a whole, in order to fully and sustainably empower women in the 21st century. We have come a long way when looking at women education in the 21st century, and yet we are still a long path. There's still a long path ahead of us. The conversation of gender being one of the key issues within this discussion. As I said before, I had the privilege to go to school, as do my children. However, not everyone, especially young girls, do not have this opportunity and are still not able to enjoy the same rights as boys. This includes the right to go to school, and I would claim, and most importantly, to finish school. Is the promise of Goal 4 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, education for all, a goal which will deliver its aim to provide quality education to all by 2030, or really just another document that looks good in writing but does not reflect the reality of people living on the grounds? I hope after today, after vibrant and engaging conversations, that we will find a way to enhance the educational system in some way or another here in Thailand. It is always about progress. Keep moving forward. The discussion on gender, and especially to enable quality education for girls and women, is no different. My NGO, Professors Without Borders, tries to address this SDG 4 specifically. We invest in people. The most talented freely elect to go abroad when given the opportunity. We try to avoid the brain drain. University-age students today will be the next political and business leaders of their society. New leaders. There is a huge and growing democratic population under 25-year-olds. It's a democratic shift. Pribo is investing in local capacity to build competent and enthusiastic employees and entrepreneurs of the future. So how do we do that? SDG 4, quality education. By 2030, substantially increase the supply of quality teachers, including through international cooperations for teachers, for the teacher training in developing countries, especially least developed countries and small island development states. So we bring quality teachers in countries, host workshops with local faculty, teach and inspire the future generations of teachers. By 2030 also, ensure equal access for all women and men to affordable and quality technical, vocational and tertiary education, including university. At Professor Borders, half of our program are in women-only institutions. All of our courses are offered free to students. By 2030, substantially increase the number of youth and adults who have relevant skills, including technical and vocational skills, for employment, decent jobs, and entrepreneurship. We equip our students with skills relevant to the workforce and put a particular emphasis on entrepreneurship and confidence building. So, while challenges remain, we can point to major advances in the educational system here in Thailand and in other neighboring regions. According to the UNESCO Institute report, which looked at the dates between 2000 and 2016, it concluded that young girls and adolescent women have gained access to education, making it a total of 453 million girls and women who are studying from pre-primary to tertiary education in Asia Pacific. It is true, with more girls in school now than ever before, we cannot afford to be complacent. Therefore, the report confirms what we all know and raises one question. Do we have access to quality education for all? Sadly, no. And not for a long time. We're not there yet. In rural areas especially, young girls find it increasingly difficult to access quality education. The UNESCO report compared literacy levels among 15 to 24-year-olds and illustrated this point by, for example, in Pakistan, 85% of young men in rural areas were literate compared to only 52% of young girls in rural areas. Let me address another key topic, which goes with the SDGs really well: STEM. Girls' education in the domain of STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. Despite the fact that women in STEM have a long tradition, we need more young women in STEM. As STEM is vital for the career and job opportunities of the future. The world is changing fast, and we need girls to be ready for the world of tomorrow. As an example, look into your bag. What do you see? I know what is in mine: STEM, meaning a phone, vitamins, my polar sunglasses, aloe vera enhanced lipstick, my electronic recognizable passport, my perfume, and so on. This is all STEM. STEM includes heavily SDG 4 education, but it does as well SDG 3, good health and well-being, SDG 5, gender equality, SDG 6, clean water and sanitation, SDG 7, affordable and clean energy, SDG 8, decent work and economic growth. It is important to get more girls into STEM. STEM has increased the quality of life of all of us, didn't it? Our grandparents, could they have ever imagined the life we're living now when they were our age? I personally find this fascinating. Girls and women represent 50% of our society, and yet, they experience 100% of the issues as men. And yet, a lot of solutions that are being drafted are drafted by men, which often are not suitable for the female gender. What does it mean, for example, when we invest in STEM? Where are the opportunities? As an example, in the next 5 years, which is very, very, very quick, the UK alone is targeting to hire 1 million women in the domain of STEM. Think about it. Thailand has an incredible opportunity to get into the domain of STEM. If I may so, you're already much there, as your key export products are rubber, jewelry, cell phones, and gold. Now, we just need to invest more time and resources towards the domain of STEM, educate future engineers, men and women who will produce these products for you rather than other companies who are not resident here. So rather than sending your raw materials to other countries, give education to your youth and make them produce it here. Southeast Asia is on the right path, which needs to be celebrated as well as adjusted at all times to accommodate the needs of a fast-moving and growing society. I have great hope in Thailand and know that much can be done. I am honored to witness this discussion here today, and I'm looking forward to hear and see what I can do to support this culturally rich and inspirational society. Thank you so much for giving me the honor to address you today, and wish you all an inspirational and thought-provoking time at the first ever conference on women, development, and higher education here in beautiful Bangkok. Please do not hesitate to come and see me later, or get in touch with me over my different channels. Thank you so very much.